Hello everyone, my name is Alyan Fiverrwala and today I am live with very special guest Mr. Robbins. Mr. Robbins is a passion for innovation and love for learning, work and play. Mr. Robbins is a true visionary. Get ready to dive into the world of innovation and creativity with this remarkable individual. So hello sir, how are you?
Good, thank you. How about you?
I am also fine. Thank you so much for asking. Okay, sir. So before moving on the question, can you please introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Robin Hughes, and I am the CEO of Your Future Games. And I've also in Cambodia at the moment, and I've started an academy teaching industry preparedness skills, focusing on communication and technology. So I'm really enjoying that at the moment.
That's great. Thank you so much for this wonderful introduction. So my first question in your screen, can you tell us about your background and professional experience?
Okay, so my background is a little bit unusual because um, when I was something like 8, when I was young anyway, I saw a little pamphlet on about the environment, and at that stage, I decided that I wanted to be an environmental scientist, and so that was the start of my journey, and so I wanted to figure out how I could solve that problem. So I started doing research in that, and then I ran into some health problems, which meant that I couldn't then go on to study at university and such. And so I ended up getting into uh, trying to understand what was wrong with my health. So that was my second problem. How can I fix my health? And then I moved on to transportation and solving problems there. And I also, when I was sick, I was struggling and I was feeling awful. So I wanted to distract myself. So I played games. And then I was like, well, playing games is great, right? It's fun. A lot of people enjoy playing games. But for me, I wanted to be able to learn something useful for my life so that I could get a chance to get ahead because I was stuck. I wasn't able to study. Back. I can see myself again. So I wanted to be able to learn something. So I was feeling like I was getting some real value from my time beyond having fun. And I would have also liked to be able to earn something. So I started researching that. And then I ended up getting involved with the Games for Change movement and ended up becoming a game producer. And then I was like, well, and I've been helping, over time, I've helped a lot of startups with different projects as well. And I wanted to fill in my skills. And so then I went back to study because by the stage I'd improved my health a lot. And yeah, one thing's led to another until the point where I am at the moment in Cambodia. To cut the story short, and yeah, I'm really enjoying making an impact through education at the moment.
That's great. Thank you so much for this answer. So what inspired you to pursue a career in innovation?
Oh, I like helping people. That's my passion. That's my why. I want to make a difference. And so that's what led me to innovation is that when I saw a problem, like I mentioned, environmental problems, in particular desertification, I wanted to improve things for people because I know people live where there's deserts, right? And so there's a lot of struggle, particularly around that. And so I wanted to find solutions to make things better for people. And so that's what's inspired me the whole way through with all of the different wicked problems that I've worked on is how can I make things better for people?
Okay, thank you so much for this answer. So how do you define innovation and what role does it play in your life?
It's an interesting one because I see that some people define innovation as like things like big changes, big new innovative things, new ideas that are completely new. For me, innovation is a lot. I mean, it can be that, it can be something big like that, but to me, it's about connecting all the pieces together, understanding how everything connects and fits, and being able to use that to make improvements and to get a better result than the individual parts by themselves. So for me, innovation is often not as like something that you just bang, you see like this amazing things happening. It's often little things where people have pulled different things that already exist and together to make something new. So I've seen people complain about that. People say, "Oh, I've done all this stuff," and people say it's not innovation because it's not spectacular. But in actual fact, they have done something new, and it is making a big difference. And so for me, I see both as innovation, and both are important. The more systems connecting things, and the leaps of innovation are two aspects of innovation, two areas of innovation. They're both important.
That's great. So, can you share a specific example of project or initiative where innovation played a crucial role?
Um, that's a good question. For me, every project I and I'm always innovating. I'm always coming up with new things, or I'm working with people that um, are innovating or thinking about new different ways to do things. Rather than answer the question, if that's okay, I'll just talk about something that's a little bit different, but it's related. What often happens with innovation is that it gets lost, right? So people have innovative ideas and they think this could be cool, and we could do this and we could achieve this. And so there's an awful lot of innovation that never sees the light of day, right? So that might be something that's interesting to think about, all of the innovative ideas that are just floating around, that never, nobody really much got experience them. And that's my experience with a lot of innovation, is some cool ideas, but you've got to be able to implement it. If you can't implement the ideas, and then people are not going to experience it, and it's not going to generate any benefit for anybody. Does that work for you?
Okay, that's okay. So, how do you approach learning new things, and what strategies do you find most effective for personal growth?
So I actually teach quite a bit about learning how to learn. And there's some really good resources on the internet about how to learn as well. So I think that this is really, really important. Like I talk about learning first things first, and the first things first to do is to learn about how to learn well. So yeah, it is a big topic. One of the things that I
Okay.
say, I mean, I don't have it all together in my head right now, but one of the things that I say is important is that the best way to learn is to teach, and the best way to teach is to learn. So I find that when you go and you need to teach something to someone else, it helps to make it really clear in your head what it is. So as a teacher now, I find it really good because that allows me to to improve my ideas a lot and to learn from the students. And if I'm going to be a good teacher, I need to learn from the students so that I can deliver the best results for them. How to learn, for me, my process of learning looks like I just ask questions. I ask questions and I go and I look online. I look for
जंजीरें अब तोड़ देंगे तरक्की से रिश्ता जोड़ देंगे जॉब के पट्टे से आजादी गुलामी अब छोड़ दे
साथ है हमारे बड़े दिल वाला मुश्किलों से जिसने निकाला गिरते हुओं को फिर से संभाला वो है रेहान अल्लाह वाला
किया हर मैदान फतह किया हर मैदान फतह किया उसने सबको जमा किया उसने सबको जमा वो है रेहान अल्लाह वाला वो है रेहान अल्लाह वाला
गूगल से वेरीफाई करेंगे
Sorry about that.
Okay, so now you can hear me.
The internet, yes. The internet on my end is a bit unreliable. I've been trying to get fiber in, but there's a problem with the interference with the power lines, and yeah, we haven't managed to be able to get it sorted. But I was hoping that we could get it sorted before we had this chat, but fortunately, no. Yes. So I believe anyway. First things first. Start with learning how to learn, and that's. If you can get good at learning, then you can speed everything up. Everything can be quicker. You can spend less time learning, or you can learn faster and get more, achieve more. So, yes. And there are some people that are really good on that I recommend. I'm happy to send the link if you want to share it with people later. But yes, one of the things that's really important for learning is playfulness. So if you have a playful mindset, you could use, often people say curious, a curious mindset, then you can take a lot of the emotional heat out of learning. So sometimes we take things too seriously and it gets in the way of our learning. So when we use curiosity and playfulness and see it more like a game, then sometimes we can learn faster. Seeing it as a game as opposed to playfulness means that we focus more on winning, right? With play, it's kind of like just have fun. Whereas if you see it as a game, we take things a bit more seriously and we try to win. The difference between that and just seeing normal real life is that with a game, you can usually can start again. So again, it's not as serious, right, as sometimes we take things too seriously. So using an approach like this can help us, can give us a different perspective in how we're doing it and focus on the result because we want to win, right? If we want to win at learning, then we've got a plan to win. You know, as I say, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So using a gameful mindset can help us a lot to learn better.
Okay, thank you so much for this answer. So, can you share some of your favorite book or resource that have influenced your thinking and approach to innovation?
There is a book somewhere about a guy called Thomas Bata. And I read his book as really interesting about how he is the one that actually started mass producing shoes. So it's a really good read. So people are really familiar with stories about Ford and how he started mass manufacturing cars. But Thomas Bata is a really, really interesting read. So I would really recommend that if you want to know and think about, you know, the whole process of, I guess, of improving the way that we do things. And, you know, he is a real leader in mass producing. and he's not very well known. And you think about, everybody, we all wear shoes that are mass produced. And how did that all start? Well, Thomas Barter.
Okay, that's great. So, what challenges have you faced in your journey as an innovator, and how did you overcome them?
I think probably the hardest challenge as an innovator is in people understanding what you're talking about. So you can have some big insights. I mean, different innovators are different, right? Because I'm very much systems orientated and about how things all fit together. But it's a common struggle that innovators have often had, is that people don't understand what they're talking about and they think that their idea is stupid. So that is one of the biggest challenges I think that we face as innovators, is being able to communicate effectively what our ideas are. And I teach as part of my my courses about there's three in games. There's three kind of ways that we communicate. As a good game designer, there is through story, and then there is through gameplay mechanics. So that's the things that happen in the game, the things that you can do. And there's the aesthetics, which is the visuals and the audio. So all of those things are important parts of communicating. So the more we can communicate effectively through creating things that people can experience in those three different ways, the easier it is, because people struggle with things that they can't see or experience, because a lot of people, they're not wired that way to be able to have a huge insight into just like look at something and be able to see, okay, this is how everything's going to fit. They can see, oh, things are here. Like they see a house, for example, when it's partly built, and they can't see how it's going to be when it's finished. And so if you don't have all the resources to be able to finish the house, then people are going to say, man, that's a stupid house. Why do you do it like this? Why do you do it differently? So that's a real challenge, right? Because if you're doing things differently and everybody's like, what the heck? That's random. That doesn't make sense. Then they're not going to be interested in what you have to offer. So through games, I got involved with rapid prototyping, and I worked with a rapid prototyper. And so that actually provides opportunity to create something that is like this finished product, but you've taken shortcuts along the way so that you can quickly produce something that gives people a good idea of what the finished product could end up like. And so that is really, really important. Be able to communicate with other people what the vision is. And for me, the more that I've been able to deliver and produce final products, or at least things that people can see what it's going to be like at the end, the easier it is for people to grasp and get on board and say, yeah, that's good. That makes sense.
Okay, sir. So, are there any specific industries or field where you believe innovation has the most potential impact?
Innovation can impact anywhere. So to me, it's more about where the problems are. So wherever the biggest problems are, that's having the most impact, if you solve them, obviously there's going to be more impact. I often see things that I struggle with or have difficulty with, and I get attracted to those because of my experience with them. Yes. So one of the things that I'm interested in is the whole issue of getting. Well, this is actually one of my key things. Is the intersection between learning and work, and there are a whole lot of problems getting between learning and work. There's people that require that you have 3 years experience. They require you have a degree. And some people, that's really hard for. Some people, they have disabilities, learning difficulties, or maybe bad stuff has happened in their life and they're just not able to, well, it's actually impossible for everybody to be able to tick all the boxes. And we're looking at things through one kind of lens of, from a recruiter's perspective, that they've got all these people wanting to apply for a job and apply for jobs, and they're trying to filter it out to find the most suitable employees for what they need. And that's one lens and way of looking at things. But when you look at it from a more of a holistic perspective, you see that there's all these people that have got a lot to offer that aren't getting much opportunities because of the way the system is. And there's a lot of people complaining about the system, that it's doesn't work well. There's problems from the technology aspect of it in terms of the websites. There's problems with it in terms of approaches and systems that people apply. There's problems in terms of how schools, how the education side of things approach it. There's problems from the work from the employee side, how they approach recruitment, employees, and employing people in onboarding and training them up and supporting them. So there's problems everywhere, right? So it's kind of problems like that are perfect for a systems approach, because you're dealing with many different aspects to a problem. You're not just dealing with like one simple problem, and you just, if you solve that, then you can go ahead. There's no one problem, so there's not all one solution. It's a system of solutions. It's hitting things from multiple angles that it's going to get the best result. So I feel that because work is such a big part of people's lives, it's huge, and how that goes across into how we play and how we and even how we rest, but how we learn, play, and work, they're all connected. And for people that don't have work, that's tragic, because work is such an important part of well-being. If you don't have work, and I've experienced this because I was sick for a long time, that it really affects your sense of well-being and sense of self-worth and purpose. So it took a long time for me to work back from poor health, and it could have been a lot faster if things were different. And I feel that when I'm looking at other people, that things could be much better for them and better for everyone, because the people that are missing out are the people that are creative and have completely different perspectives. And we know that generally when there's more diversity, when you have different perspectives, people from different countries, people with different backgrounds and with disabilities, and that if you bring people together, they're different, they have different perspectives. And when you bring those different perspectives together, you end up with better solutions. Just even for learning, if you are developing learning experiences, taking into account people that have learning difficulties, usually you make the learning experience better for everyone, not just the people that have difficulties. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes, sir. So, thank you so much for this wonderful interview and giving me your precious time for the interview. I'm again very thankful to you to giving me your precious and valuable time for the interview. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.